are second-year graduate students from WPI Data Science program. I'm Hui Min.
I'm Jin.
I'm Meng.
In the last 3 months, we have worked on our graduate qualified project, or GQP. GQP is basically a capstone project which is designed as a final phase for our education at WPI. The idea of GQP is to implement all the knowledge we have and bring it to the real world.
We are very glad to have this opportunity to work with Pfizer, one of the largest biopharmaceutical companies, to complete our graduate qualifying project. This project is called Clinical Trial Overage. One of the challenges facing the clinical supplies is to predict patient enrollment. It is difficult to predict and decide what the needs of the demands are. For the supply chain managers, they don't ever want to have a patient show up in the clinical side and not have drug to start. Therefore, they will oversupply drugs for reducing the risk of a stockout, and that overage caused a large amount of waste. In this GQP project, we analyzed the waste and identified the influential factors that affect waste, and then use those factors as indicators to help Pfizer improve their planning process of the new clinical trials.
This is the framework of our project. The first step is to fetch data from their database, Revolution. In Revolution, there are many tables such as patient recruitment, center inventory, and depot inventory. The second step is to generate many potential features that may have influence on the waste ratio. And this step is based on our domain knowledge and understanding of Pfizer's historical data. And then we conduct a correlation analysis to test whether this latent feature has a significant impact on waste ratio. Finally, after finding all significant features, we design a dashboard to help them monitor how efficiently this protocol is going on at present and help improve their planning process of clinical trials.
When we integrated data from different data sources, we noticed that there are many aspects of information associated with each one of the protocols, and those information needs to be considered when Pfizer keeps track of the waste of the clinical supplies. So we designed several dashboards to visualize the data more efficiently and to present information from different levels in a more interactive way.
In global clinical supply, we're in charge of the drug that brings that treatment. We have to forecast drug needs of individual patients a year, maybe 2 years in advance, to make sure that we could actually manufacture the drug, package the drug, label it, and then deliver it. Because we're a global company, we have trials everywhere in the world, so we're delivering to many, many countries. That all has to come together without the patient having to wait too long at the clinical site. We want to know, if I'm going to a certain country, how much drug do I need there? Well, that drug depends how many patients I have that are coming in. Or if we can plan better and say, Scott, don't send too much to this country. Historically, they're a little risky. Then I'll hold off. I'll just send little bits. And then that way I can have it for the rest of the world. For your project, what we were looking for is to take all that data that we have and help us interpret it and find out how can we do better forecasting of not just how much drug I need, but where I need it. If we could see how well do they recruit, how well do they use the investigational product that we send them, the drug, that helps us identify key players that we want to work with. Certainly if they're a good recruiter, we want to go there because that's going to bring in patients sooner. And it's easier from my perspective to send to one site rather than 10 sites. And the sooner that we can have recruitment, the sooner the study can end. The sooner the study ends, we do our analysis, the sooner we can get to market, and then all patients can have it. So the data that you're working on, getting right down to the site level, is going to be very, very beneficial for us. I like your work very much. We don't have the cleanest data, but you're helping identify the variables that we should be focusing on. And what we're going to do is we're going to do two things. We're going to take your work, use that to help us identify the countries and the PIs, the sites where we should go or where we identify risk if we go there. And then the other part that we're going to do is the variables that you identified, we're going to go back and work with our data integrity team and then start to see, can we make that data cleaner? The cleaner the data is, or we make it cleaner going forward, the more efficient it's going to be for when we do our analysis.